Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. Today we are going to be recapping 3 books that I predicted would be 5-star reads. Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand and Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library do Booklist Thursday every Thursday. And every few months they do a 5-star prediction round where they invite other people to join them. And this time they invited me to join in. And I'm very excited that they did that, and because it gives me a deadline. So I just finished reading the third one of these, and I'm going to tell you if I thought these books were 5 stars. Let's start with The Night War by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. I was very hopeful for this because I really love this author, and it's a World War II historical fiction, which is the first book that I read by her. The War That Saved My Life is also that World War II historical aspect. But unfortunately, this one didn't work quite as well for me. We do follow a young Jewish girl named Mary who lives in Paris. And when the Nazis arrive on the scene and Jews start getting rounded up, Mary is able to escape with a neighbor's daughter. So these 2 girls escape into the French countryside and they end up at a convent orphanage type of a thing in the French countryside. There's also this storyline of sort of like an underground railroad, like a escape route where people are able to leave France and get to safety, and Mary gets wrapped up in that as well. All of these are aspects that I should love in the book, and they're aspects of this book that I did love. However, there was one storyline with this older lady who lives at this castle nearby to the convent where Mary is staying. And the whole storyline surrounding this older woman, I really didn't care for. There's a almost fantastical element to things and an attempt to connect the events that were happening with Nazis and Hitler to another ruler in England and some of the things that leader did. I didn't maybe know enough about that person and how they ruled and what their actions were to make that connection strong enough in my mind. And I don't know that connection was developed enough in this book. So this one's getting a 3.5 stars for me. There was aspects of it that I really did like, but also it was kind of a miss, unfortunately. Definitely one of my least favorite Kimberly Brubaker Bradley books that I have read, but I will still read more from her. So there's that. My patrons helped me pick a book from my shelf that has the word orphan in the title because it is a buzzword for me. And the one that got the most votes was The Paris Orphan by Natasha Lester. And again, this was a World War II historical fiction that takes place in France, which I love stories like that. In this one, we follow a photojournalist. She was a model for Vogue magazine, but in the midst of the war, she wasn't getting work. So she fought a way for herself to become a photojournalist and was able to travel to France. While there, she meets a British officer, I believe, and also an orphan little girl. And these 3 lives become very entangled. And then there's a present day storyline as well about a young woman who is curating a collection of photographs from the wartime, learns some secrets about her grandmother and her grandmother's life. And all of that in the present day storyline didn't feel new or fresh or not necessary. I mean, it was an interesting part of it, but I just didn't feel like it brought anything new to the table to World War II historical fiction. And in the past storyline, I loved some of her friendships, but at the same time, I really didn't care for the romance. First of all, it was way too steamy. I was too close to the bedroom. I just didn't feel like that was necessary. And then it was a bit, the ending felt a little bit rushed and over the top melodrama, and some of the twists were predictable. Oh yeah, I felt like there was a twist in here that I predicted as well and didn't love that. This wasn't my favorite, but there definitely were aspects to it that I did enjoy, and I ended up giving this one 4 stars. And then just tonight I finished The Outlaw Noble Salt by Amy Harmon. And this one did get 5 stars. Yay! I absolutely loved Amy Harmon's books for the most part. There's been a couple that I haven't liked, but this one I really loved. We follow Butch Cassidy, who's trying to leave his life of crime. And I just love the way Amy develops his character and other characters in here as well. They're so nuanced and there's no good or bad. We do meet some of the outlaws that he ran with back in the day. And there's a beautiful love story with a famous opera singer and her son, who has a huge birthmark on his face and really struggles making connections elsewhere. But there's a beautiful love story that develops between them as she hires him to be as her security. He has taken on this name, Noble Salt, and I just really love the way she developed the characters in here, and I thought that love story was beautiful. I loved the relationship between Noble, or Butch Cassidy, and the son, Augustus. Oh my word, I loved that relationship so much. And a quirky aspect of the story that I did really enjoy is that Noble, or Butch, I don't know what to call him, he's both. He had a little book of verses, and he would just occasionally write haiku. They called it haku or hoku in here. Haiku is what I grew up learning, where that the 3-line poem where it's 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. He writes these little lines and he kind of thinks in these lines to himself, and then he teaches that to the son and then to the mom, and even the other outlaws get involved in writing these little verses. So it was kind of like a little quirky aspect to things. But I just really loved the morally gray character and how some people's perception may not be based on truth. And what he is he good? Is he bad? And the love that these two have for each other was just so fraught at times, but also so sacrificial at times. I love the character of Butch Cassidy in here. Oh my word. And I loved Jane as well, and the struggles that she had to go through. There is a rape scene in here that happens earlier on in the story. It's just part of her story and what she has to overcome as she begins to open herself up to love. Holy moly. There's so much in here, and I think Amy Harmon just writes a beautiful story, and I absolutely loved it, and I gave it 5 stars. There is a bit of language, but they're outlaws, so it felt realistic to me, and it's not horrible. It wasn't like every other word. But yeah, I really liked this. And I'm so glad that I had a 5-star in this bunch. Actually, I think there's a scene of rape in this one too, now that I think about it. So trigger warnings for that in both of these books. So there's my 3 books that I predicted would be 5 stars. 1 out of 3 isn't bad. So I had a 3.5, a 4, and a 5. Not bad overall. I'm glad that I read these 3 books. I would love to hear if you've read any of these or if you're interested in picking them up now. I would love for you to stop over to Sarah and Lindsay's channels to see if they ended up giving their books 5 stars or not. And that is going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching and spending a few minutes of your day with me. I really appreciate you being here, and I look forward to talking with you in another video very soon. Bye!